Anomadassi is a member of Triloka Bauddha Mahasangha, or TBM, the Indian wing of the Western Buddhist order. He now lives on the outskirts of Mumbai and commutes 2 hours into the city every morning. As one of 8 children born into a village family, his prospects were poor. Yet, despite his background, he graduated with a commerce degree at the Dr Ambedkar Society College in Aurangabad, and soon after this moved to Mumbai in search of employment.
With one plastic bag, nothing more than that. I come over here, and my friend here, now he's the Machari Abhiyanand. He is very, that time, he's my very good friend. He gave me support, and with his help, I got some government job here. I joined in Bank of India in 1973. That time I was a clerk, and I got the promotion in 1978. Actually, when I came to the TBMSG, really what Buddhism means I know there. So, by birth, nobody is Buddhist, but when he is practicing the Buddhism, then he really becomes a Buddhist. So when I came contact to the TBMSG in 1982, when Vajraketu was taking the Sivira in Ambarnath that time, so I know, yes, this is the real Buddhism. So I came to the TBMSG and become real Buddhist in this way.
It is through personal effort that Anomadassi has risen above the considerable obstacles of his social background. He was born into a community that traditionally lies at the lowest strata of the Hindu caste system, once called untouchables. It is a background that is shared by millions of people across India. But unlike Anomadassi, the majority are not able to rise above the conditions of their birth. In 1949, the practice of caste and untouchability, which had been the basis of Indian society for over 2,000 years, was made illegal by the constitution of a newly independent India. That constitution was masterminded by Dr B.R. Ambedkar.
Dr. Ambedkar is a leader of untouchables. He was born in untouchable, but throughout his life he struggled for the emancipation of untouchables. And throughout his life he tried various means, like social means, political means, but in the end he realized that the caste in India can be broken by embracing some other religion, and he saw the answer in Buddhism. At the time of conversion, this conversion took place in 1956. I was about 14 years old. That time the untouchables were not in a position to lead a good life. In education field they had to sit outside, and they were not able to enter the temples also, not fetch water from the wells. After the conversion, there was so much inspiration that people started exerting themselves, and they wanted the dignified life.
Only 6 weeks after his conversion to Buddhism in 1956, Dr. Ambedkar died. Hundreds of thousands of his people had converted with him, in an attempt to throw off the inhumanity the caste system had inflicted upon them. Millions more were to follow his example and convert to Buddhism after his death. This final act of his life began an irreversible chain reaction. Yet without their leader, the future was insecure for the new Buddhists.
Under the new constitution of sovereign India, untouchability was abolished by law. But in social structure and in the practices of Hindu society, they are not vanished. They are not over. They have developed from one part of their practices to another part of their practices, more subtle, more refined. But there is the untouchability notion mentally, emotionally. People are being treated as untouchables, not physically. Physical untouchability has gone by the law.
From 1956 until he returned to England in 1964, Sangharakshita played an important part in helping the new Buddhists to practice Buddhism. And it was this work that sowed the seeds of what was to become TBMSG, Triloka Bauddha Mahasangha Sayak Gana, the Indian wing of the Friends of the Western Buddhist Order. The majority of those involved in TBMSG come from scheduled caste communities, formerly known as untouchables, and are followers of Dr Ambedkar.
I came to India first in 1977. I came to do yoga. I brought a team of people to do yoga, people who had been teaching in England, and we came to Pune to see Master Iyengar. But before coming here, I travelled around the holy places and then came back through Nagpur, came to Pune through Nagpur. And Bhante had asked me before I left just to contact some of his old disciples in India. So in Nagpur and in Pune, I did that. And that has led to me staying here. In Nagpur, I arrived on the very day of the 21st anniversary of the conversion ceremony. And I was taken to the main celebrations there on what is called the Diksha Bhumi, the place where Dr Ambedkar originally converted. I saw at that time more people than I'd ever seen in my life, more people than any football match in England, even at Wembley. And it was very, very impressive. See all these people who had just become Buddhists 21 years before. I'd written to Bhante saying how much he was appreciated here and how there was almost no effective Buddhist teaching for the Buddhist followers of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. And he'd asked me, should we start a centre there? And I had to say, yes, we must start a centre here. I waited a few days before replying because I knew that if I said, yes, we must start a centre here, he would say, well, why don't you do it? Which is exactly what he did.
They were not big resources, but the earlier classes were very good actually. We used to sit in the veranda of some bungalow, or we used to earlier days we used to sit in the garage of a Christian lady. This Christian lady used to take her car to the church on Sundays, and in that garage we used to sit there. Sometimes the children who were playing cricket ball that used to come there, but people very keen to practice Buddhism together. There was very positive atmosphere. Positive people were practicing very seriously. Particularly, they were very keen to practice meditation. For the first time, they were meditating. So it was very good. People from long distances to come to the classes. There used to be only one class, but people from 25 kilometers or 30 kilometers, they used to come on a particular day and attend there. This was in 79, 80s, 81. These classes were initially led by Padmavajra and Lokamitra, but very soon some of the Indian Dhammacharis, initial Dhammacharis, they started leading some classes.
Since those early days, TBMSG has developed into a substantial Buddhist movement.